Want to know the absolute shortest path to financial freedom? Like the idea of living off of passive dividend income ASAP? Would you like to see how it's possible to live off of just $10,000 in annual dividend income? Then you have to check out today's video.
He is a best-selling author.
30-year-old Jason Fieber has a plan.
This guy retired at only 33 years old.
I don't know if I know too many people that have accomplished something like that.
He's really kind of a guru when it comes to passive income.
Before I get into today's content, if you want exclusive access to my personal six-figure stock portfolio and alerts on any new investments I make, check out the Patreon link in the description below. Financial freedom is amazing, and as someone who's been enjoying financial freedom for more than 5 years now, I've got to say, it's worth whatever so-called sacrifices it takes to get it. I actually went from below broke at age 27 to financially free at 33, and that was after growing up on welfare in Detroit, not having a college degree, and never having a high-paying job. By the way, I explain exactly how I achieved financial freedom in just 6 years in my early retirement blueprint. If you're interested, you can download a free copy of my early retirement blueprint using the link in the description of this video. So I know a lot about getting to the finish line very quickly. Now, I'm not promising you a life of luxury here, but if you can't stand the typical 9 to 5 till 65 thing and want financial freedom ASAP, I can tell you all about a way to make that happen. In fact, I believe it's possible to live off of just $10,000 a year in dividend income. That is not a high threshold to meet, nor something that would take decades to achieve. Today, I want to tell you about the shortest path to financial freedom and how it's possible to live off of just $10,000 a year in dividend income. Ready? Let's dig in. This video will not be discussing how to actually build up the $10,000 per year in dividend income. I've already done a lot of videos on stuff like that, and you can also check out what I'm doing over at Patreon. Instead, I'm talking about what to do after that kind of annual dividend income threshold is met so that you can kiss the day job goodbye. There's a secret I'm going to let you in on today, and it could change your life as it did mine. It's a phrase, a passcode, a secret passcode that can open up all kinds of possibilities, but you have to be open-minded to it. If you want to stay in the matrix and 9 to 5 it for most of your life, there's nothing wrong with that. As I always say, to each their own. But this concept, the passcode I'm about to share with you, is not that at all. The secret passcode is geographic arbitrage. Yup, geographic arbitrage. Arbitrage is taking advantage of a price difference between two or more markets. This is doing it in a geographic manner. What I'm talking about here is taking your $10,000 per year in dividend dollars and spending them in another country where those dollars go much, much, much further. In fact, when you live in another country and withdraw money from a local ATM, it won't be US dollars that are coming out, and that's exactly the point. So how much further can your dollars go in another market? Much further than you might think. I moved to Thailand in 2017. I've been living here ever since. I moved here specifically for geographic arbitrage purposes, and what I found after living here for 4 years now is that my local purchasing power has been tripled. That's right, my money goes 3 times further here than in the States. That's on an apples-to-apples basis. If you take my exact lifestyle here and replicate it in the States, it'll cost you 3 times what I spend. What that also means is that my dividend dollars are amplified by a factor of 3 over here. Imagine instantly tripling the value of your portfolio and the income it produces. Wouldn't that be awesome? Getting to the crux of the topic, that could turn $10,000 in annual dividend income into $30,000 in annual dividend income in US purchasing power terms. Now we're working with some money, right? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Here are some pictures of my 1-bedroom condo in Chiang Mai, Thailand from when I first moved in. I'm shooting the video you're watching from this condo. I rent this place for 13,000 Thai baht per month. At the current exchange rate, that's about $390 US per month. As you can see, it's a nice, clean apartment. It's located in the best spot in town within walking distance to all the places I frequent, including my favorite coffee shop, the gym, restaurants, shopping, etc. And check this out, it's completely furnished. Comes with the couch, bed, television, etc. I get a pool, security guard, small gym, elevator, gated access, the whole 9 yards for less than $400 a month. How much do you think this place would cost back in the States? In any desirable US city, in a walkable location, totally furnished, I think this place would go for more than 3 times as much more actually. And this is just one example. Transportation, I can get from one end of town to the other on less than $1. Food, my daily lunch costs less than $2. So on and so forth for the rest of my expenses. Almost everything has been cost compressed at a ratio of 3-to-1 or better. So could you live where I'm living on just $10,000 a year? Absolutely, if we're talking about a single person here. Since it's a tripling of purchasing power, it's like asking if you could live on $30,000 a year in the States. Plenty of people do just that. $10,000 a year is $833 per month. Now, maybe you don't have my exact condo. There are units all over town going for $150 a month. If you can get rent, typically one's biggest monthly expense, down to $150 a month, that's only 18% of your budget. You're left with more than 80% of your money to spend on food, transportation, communication, and anything else you'd need. And since I'm invested in dividend growth stocks, my dividend income has shot way up since first moving abroad. That's right. All I talk about, focus on, make videos on, and personally invest in are high quality dividend growth stocks. The dividends that these stocks are pumping out are reliably increasing year in and year out like clockwork. They're like the golden geese that lay ever more golden eggs. My dividend income alone is up by 40% since this time in 2017. Meanwhile, the prices of things like rent and food are basically unchanged since I first got to Thailand. Meanwhile, the exchange rate is the same as it was when I got here, about 33 Thai baht per $1 US. Income way up, expenses flat. Pretty sweet. Geographic arbitrage doesn't have to be Thailand, that's just where I picked. It could be done in a lot of places. The world is your oyster. There are so many options out there. Want an example? I actually think Mexico is pretty enticing in the current environment. Whereas pandemic-related lockdowns have taken a heavy toll on Thailand, Mexico has been largely open for business. Mexico offers a low cost of living, warm weather, delicious food, an easy visa situation, etc. Look, it all depends on who you are and what you want. But if you're an American with an American passport, that's kind of a golden ticket to the world as it relates to visas and being able to live in other countries on a semi-permanent or permanent basis. Now, we have to let this pandemic pass. After that, things will start to normalize. Sure, things look bleak right now. A lot of countries are closed off to tourists and expats, but if you can overcome recency bias and take a long-term view, which is something you should already be doing as an investor, the future for geographic arbitrage is bright. I actually think a lot of countries out there, the ones that are prime candidates for geographic arbitrage, will be desperate for tourists after the current storm passes. They'll be throwing out the red carpet in the near future. Just have to give it some time. Meanwhile, if the country you want to move to is off limits right now, I'd be using this time as an opportunity to add to my stash and brush up on any skills and knowledge I might need for where I'm going, like, say, language and local laws and customs. If you absolutely have to live in the United States, that's cool. This lifestyle isn't for everyone. But if you are open-minded and you want out as fast as possible, this works beautifully. Will I still be living in Thailand 4 years from now? Hard to say. What I can say is the last 4 years here have been incredible. It's opened up my mind to the possibilities that exist beyond the US borders. If you can take those US dollars and spend them in a local currency where the exchange rate is extremely favorable, that supercharges your local purchasing power. It kind of works like a time machine in terms of speeding up the journey to financial freedom. It is possible to live off of just $10,000 in annual dividend income. If you want to get to financial freedom ASAP, strongly consider taking advantage of geographic arbitrage. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give us a like if you did, and let us know in the comments what you think about living off of just $10,000 a year in dividend income using geographic arbitrage. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also, take a look at the description box below for some important links, including the link to my personal stock portfolio. This 6-figure portfolio, which I call the Fire Fund, generates enough passive dividend income for me to live off of. It'll allow me to retire in my early 30s. I've made my portfolio entirely accessible over a Patreon, and I also post alerts there whenever I buy or sell a stock. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm often invested in the same high-quality dividend growth stocks that I make videos on. Over the years, I've heard from thousands of investors who have been profiting from many of the same exact stocks that I own. So if you think this is something that you could benefit from as well, check the link in the description to see my portfolio and start getting my buy and sell alerts. I'll see you next time.